Welcome back. In this video, we'll be going over the online lobby, how to host games, and the room lobby screen in YGO Omega. Omega's user interface can look a little overwhelming at first due to the sheer amount of options there are. It's a double-edged sword, but the benefits outweigh the costs. When you want to host a duel, the first step is to click on the Host tab. This provides you with access to all the other options that you've seen in other Yu-Gi-Oh! Sims. The first option for hosting is Card Pool. Card Pool lets you select which cards are allowed into the room you host. Selecting TCG means only cards officially released in the TCG at that moment are allowed. The same goes for OCG. The WCS or World Championship Card Pool only allows cards that are available in both the TCG and OCG at the same time in that moment. All Card Pool allows any card as long as they are available in either region. The next section we see is game properties. Ban list settings are self-explanatory. If you create any custom ban list, it'll also be shown here as well. We'll come back and talk about custom ban lists in a future video. The duel mode lets you select if you'll be playing a single, a match, a tag duel, or a relay duel. The master rule will control which core set of rules you play by. Master Rule 0 represents the rules used during GOAT format, specifically 2005. A short summary of each master rule, or MR, is as follows. MR1 was the Synchro era, MR2 was the Xyz era, MR3 was the Pendulum era, MR4 was the first introduction of the Link era, and MR5 is the current master rule as of the end of 2021. Lastly is the duel rule. Duel rule is the layout of Yu-Gi-Oh! In which you'll be playing. Master Duel is the TCG and OCG game with 5 monster zones and 5 spell and trap zones. Speed Duel is 3 monster zones with 3 spell and trap zones. Rush Duel is similar to Speed Duel in terms of the field, but follows the Rush Duel rule set. Selecting this means that only Rush Duel cards will be allowed in the decks that you use. The last is Manual Mode. This mode allows you to do anything by allowing you full manual control over the game, allowing you to move cards to whatever location you wish, and set whatever stats or life point values you want. We have a video dedicated to using manual mode ready for the future. This mode can be used for a solo mode for real life play or to play casually with your friends, with all the flashy visuals of Omega. In manual mode, you can also type /help in the chat box to see a list of commands exclusively available in manual mode. Now let's talk about custom properties. Here you can modify settings such as life point values, the time each player starts their turn with, the number of cards drawn per draw phase, and the starting hand size. By unchecking shuffle, you will have the duel start with the cards arranged exactly in the order they were in the deck editor, and you'll also not shuffle after any interactions with the deck. The first cards in the deck will be the ones in the upper left hand corner of the deck editor. This is great for testing out specific combos with specific hands. Allow Beta will allow cards with beta scripts. Allow Illegal will enable cards such as the anime versions of cards, pre-errataed versions of cards, and match-winning cards, which are not fit for typical play. The last setting here is the date filter. This is an awesome feature which allows you to filter the allowed card pool down only to cards released between the 2 given time periods. For example, if I enter 2008 to 2011, then only cards released between those years will be allowed in the room. This allows you to play virtually any format in any time period, and even construct your own. Please note that if you select the TCG card pool, it will automatically use the TCG release dates of cards. Otherwise, it'll default to the OCG release dates. You can also get started without even messing with any settings. The preset buttons at the bottom will allow you to instantly set your settings to the most common formats: TCG, OCG, Duel Links, Rush Duel, and GOAT format. With a single click, you can set all the settings for each format respectively. If you're a player who wants to test out future formats, such as the TCG format with upcoming releases of product, or the OCG after card announcements, with either case, you'll want to use the All Card Pool with your preferred ban list and allow beta. Remember, while this is still an imaginary format, it can be helpful to keep ahead of the curve. The Private button allows you to host a private game that won't show up in the lobby or a search. This means that you'll have to invite your friends to play in your game through Discord. To enable this, open up your Discord user settings, go to the activity status, and make sure it's enabled. You can then host your room. Once in your room, you can send the invite by clicking the green plus next to the text box in your direct message or channel you wish to send the invite in. Click Invite to play YGO Omega, and then send the invite. To join a game with an invite, you must have Omega open before you click Join. Once you click Join, it will connect you to your room that you requested, and you'll be ready to play. Please note that game invites for both joining and sending will not work with mobile versions of Omega at this time due to a limitation with the Discord application. We hope that this changes in the near future, but at this time, we hope you bear with us. The last option to discuss is the extra roles. By clicking this button, you will show a plethora of options. With extra rules, you can enforce a variety of rules for your game. For example, you can disable the extra monster zone, enable the separate pendulum zones like in MR3 while still playing in Master Rule 5 for link summoning and pendulum summoning. You can even restrict specific summoning methods from being used, such as no rituals or no XZ summons or no synchro summons. This allows for some truly unique combinations of rules. Try experimenting with these for some fun. If you don't know what any of the duel types are that are listed in the left-hand column, feel free to look them up on Wikipedia for full details on each of them and the rules that abide by them. Once you've made your selections, go ahead and click on the check mark or the X to revert your selection to how they were before you opened the window. If you want to join a duel as quickly as possible, the Arena tab is for you. This is great for when you want to play TCG, OCG, or any of the alternative formats according to their official rules. Your default deck is used in the Arena. To change your default deck, simply click on the deck name to enter the deck manager, and then right-click on the deck you want to set as the default to close the deck manager. As an alternative, on mobile, you can also click the default button after selecting your deck. After you've selected if you want to play rank or casual modes, you can select the format from below. For ranked, you have the options of TCG, OCG, and speed duels. And for casual, you have TCG, OCG, Rush Duel, Duel Links, and GOAT formats. Then, all you need to do is simply click Join Queue to be matched with the next available player for that queue, granted that you have a deck that matches the requirements. Ranked queues will be played as matches, while casual queues will be single games. Please note that in casual TCG and OCG queues, the all card pool is used to allow users to practice for upcoming formats and use upcoming support for their archetypes. The ranked queue requires a minimum of 4 players in the queue in order for a match to be made. This is to prevent players from boosting, something that is done when a player attempts to match with themselves or their friends by entering the queue with multiple accounts at the same time. An additional matchmaking rule is that the players will not be allowed to be matched with the same player twice in a row. In casual queues, this requirement isn't present so that it's easier for a match to be made. In the future, we'll have a separate video going over the ranking system in depth, but know that there is a fine line in balance between fast matchmaking and quality matches. If we reduce the queue time, then bronze players would get matched with gold more often, which wouldn't be a very enjoyable experience. For a proper ranking system, the quality of matches matter. Even if 1 million players are in the queue at the same time, all of them will be matched into 500,000 different matches, which would leave the queue empty for the next person. Hence, the time it takes to make a match is dependent on who's available in the queue at any given time. The server will attempt to match players every 10 seconds based on the members in the queue. The last tab in the lobby is the Search tab. You can use this to filter the games displayed in the lobby. If you're searching for an active game in progress, you can enable the full playing by clicking it to glow. This will include matches that are in progress in your search results. If you want to see games that are using custom parameters different from the presets for each of the queues, then leave the custom button enabled. You can alternatively search for the host player's name to find a game. In the lobby, you can see some of the details about the room before entering it. You can see the host's name if you aren't using safe mode like I am, the number of players in the room, the duel mode, the current game if the match is in progress, the card pool, the master rule, duel rule, ban list, and if it's a ranked game or not. A ranked match is indicated by a black and yellow XZ star. You'll also see the participant's rating shown as well. Rooms with custom parameters are marked with an exclamation mark. Green rooms are rooms that haven't started a game and are currently in the room screen, while blue rooms are rooms that are currently in progress. Once you find a game you want to join, you can click on it and choose to either spectate or join as a participating player, depending on whether or not there's an open slot in the game, and whether or not it's in progress. Clicking on the room will show the full details on the right hand side so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Once you've hosted or joined a room, you'll arrive at the room screen. You can move yourself to a spectator slot by clicking spectator, or if a slot is open, you can move yourself to one of them by clicking spectator again. If you're the host of the room, you have the ability to add bots or AI by selecting a deck from the drop-down or leaving it at random and clicking add bot. If another player is in an active slot, you can also kick them from their slot by clicking on their name or image and selecting kick player. Bye Kurai. All players can change their decks in the room screen before or after returning from a duel by clicking on their deck at the bottom of the screen. Once you're happy with your selection of your deck, you can go ahead and click Ready. This will turn your name green and allow you to be able to start the game when all players are ready in the match. Exclusive to Tag and Relay Duels, the host can choose exactly how many player slots are available by right-clicking on the slot to close it off. This allows you to have unbalanced teams by having 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 2-on-3s, or 3-on-3s. You can also add AI to tag duels as well by clicking Add Bot. This follows the same rules as before. Tag duels in Omega and other autosims follow the most recent OCG rulings for the format. This means that the field is shared for each member of the team. Each turn starts with the active team swapping their current player and decks out for the next one in line, and looping back to the start at the end of each cycle. That player remains the active player until the turn passes back to their team, where they then swap themselves out with the next player in line. The active player can use any monsters or spells and traps to attack, uses material, or activate it when it's their turn or while they are in control during the opponent's turn. Additionally, only the last player in the rotation for each team can enter the battle phase during their first turn. OCG rules state that tag duels start with a starting life point value of 8,000, while the TCG tag duel rules state that you start with 16,000. Remember to set this value to whichever you wish to play by when hosting the game. Relay duels function a bit differently from tag duels. Relay duels is based on the YGO 5D's World Racing Grand Prix arc and the Zark battle at the end of Arc V. Each duel is multiple back-to-back 1-versus-1 duels. Each time a player loses, the next player in line takes their place for their team. When a player loses, the turn immediately ends, all cards are left on the field, and the new teammate begins with their draw phase. This can lead to some interesting experiences and can be really fun with players experimenting with strategies and countering opposing team setups. If you need any more help or want to be a part of the community, feel free to join us at our Discord at https://discord.gg/duelistunite. We hope to see you there.